Hey you, Mrs. Dollar Knot here. And today I thought I'd show you around my kitchen a little bit since that's where all the food from the food bank comes to. I figured, well, let's show them where everything takes place.
Okay then, welcome to Mrs. Dollar Knot's kitchen. I'll give you a slight bit of history before I actually start showing. I live in an old church. Yep, you heard it right, an old church. It was sold and bought by I don't know what he was, but he decided to turn this building into a set of 4 apartments, each apartment having 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And was in the 1970s that this transaction occurred, where the old church was sold and bought by someone that did renovation and turned it into apartments. And there's a great example right there of the 1970s, the kitchen floor. So there you have that. All right, so as we step in here to the kitchen, as you can see, it's just a long, narrow galley kitchen. And it makes it more narrow because of all the junk I have over here on the one side of it for storage, because there's storage in the cabinets, but it's not a huge a set of cabinets. And I do have a good amount of dishes and food storage and cookware and small appliances, things like that. So I had to make room for other things as well, along with the food. And that's why I figured we'd start in the kitchen, because, I've been doing food bank hauls, and guess what? This is where it all comes to, is the kitchen. So as we step in, we'll go down one side and then back down the other. We step in, we've got just a collection of mugs, and you'll probably think, God, she has too much. She's got it spread out everywhere. Yeah, I do. I won't say I have too much. It's just a small space. And when you have small spaces, I found that if you don't have shelves and things like that, the space there to put it on, hang it. So all of our little mugs are hung up on the wall. As we step in, this was here. This right here was here, and I'm thinking it was an old, because it is pretty old. It was an old shelf that held books or something, maybe from the church. I'm not sure, but I've made use of it I've turned it into my spice rack. As you can see, that's where I have all my various spices and things. I've got some artwork. Yes, this is, if you can see it in there, I'll get close in. It's an old puzzle. It's a puzzle. I had actually made this for my sister. She loved pie. So I made the puzzle. I glued it together and backed it and then framed it for her. And she had that until she passed away. And then I reclaimed it because I wanted to have that as a memory of her. My little shelf that I have here, a mini baker's rack, I've got my bowls, some of my extra mixing bowls stored, along with a canister full of raisins. Then we have, like I said, small appliances. I have 2 crock pots, some measuring cups, and then down here on the bottom, well, I've got some water storage here, and then in there, some extra plasticware that I like to keep. So, there's that little thing, and then this set of shelves I bought just for basically food storage. There is an extra bowl on top. And I like to put things in baskets or try and contain the smaller items. So that's like a snack basket up there that, you can just easily pull down, get to what you want. There you go. On this first shelf, we've got some crackers, oatmeal, cereals, extra stuff, things like that. That's some homemade sauerkraut. There's an example of something I used, that some of that cabbage we've gotten. I will show you this, and that's because we went to Dollar Tree the other day, and I saw these. Now, you know, Dollar Tree keeps increasing prices, but it's still not astronomical or anything like that. And these were $1.50 a piece for this ginormous size box of cereal. Oh, here, it's the family size. It's the family size. Woo! Family size boxes of cereal. There's what the green one, and it's supposed to be like caramel apple. So there's that one, and they're from that movie Wicked, which I've never seen, so I really don't know what it's about. I guess it's a takeoff of it's a takeoff of Wizard of Oz. Then we've got Good Berry, so this would be like a berry cereal. Still a huge family size box for $1.50, and I don't think you're going to find that anywhere at a grocery store for that price. So we've got some extra peanut butter, oil, and I will say this entire shelf, this is me, things from the food bank, things I will pick up an extra of when I go to the store and have the money. I am stocking up. Some of you won't like that idea, but I find that right now, with the way things are, it's a necessary. And what I mean by it being necessary is that prices are just going to continue to go up. So I'm grabbing a few extras here and there when I can, along with the stuff I receive from the food bank. I'm constantly rotating, bringing forward the things that are the oldest and placing the newest in the back. Just keep rotating. So as you can see, we've got soups and sauces and dressings and things like that. Canned meat, there's a little stack of tuna back there, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's even some Spam. Vegetables, tomatoes and tomato-based products, and diced chilies, some of the things I use for my Mexican cooking. And then we have down here the fruits, all of the fruits, canned fruits, stuff like that. Popcorn and my popcorn seasoning. And then we've got a basket of potatoes. This is a basket for the cats. It's got their treats and some of their foods in it. And the bottom shelf is all pretty much for the cats. It's got their foods. However, I do have some extra storage of like flour in a sealed container and stuff like that. So that's one set of shelves just for the food. I don't feel bad about trying to stock up with what I see, what's coming, how things are going. It's not going well. So, you know, it's a necessary. It's something that's necessary to be done. Another old puzzle. You see, it's an old puzzle, and this one's been around a while, and it's an older puzzle that I did and framed. We do our own bottled water. This is pretty much the cheapest way, even though I have bottles of water for my husband's lunch. This is pretty much the cheapest, most economical way is by buying it by the 5-gallon things. And we just have a crock. Instead of a machine that takes electricity, we just use the old crock method. And it works great. I'm happy with it. The kitty cat area. The fridge. The fridge is always a little bit cluttered because I keep things on top in baskets. You know, you can see paper towels and straws and stuff over here. Back in that one, I keep plastic bags, foil, things like that. And this, I will show you this. Whoop. this is how I keep my paper plates, with the holders and then the plates. So it's all in one covered section, and there's where we have our paper plates. So I'll give you a peek at the interior of the freezer and fridge. Yeah, we're a little stocked up right now. It's great. I'm thankful. I'm happy. I need to organize it a little bit better. I'm still not going to a food bank for another week and a half. Inside of the fridge, always got some fruits and veggies and different things. Yes, we have soda. We're gonna have soda. That's just a given. All your sauces, condiments, things like that is what we store on the doors. The stove area, I've got a pot of beans soaking. I'm gonna make some beans, some just good old pinto beans. Up above in the cabinets, that's just extra storage up there for like jars and things. That's all I keep up there, really. Yeah, I have a lot of crap on the walls because I've got nowhere else to put it. Those are those covers that you can put over food and things. Okay, so we're to the other side here. This was actually here when we moved in, and so it's a great place for the microwave, and the outlet's right down there behind it. I store some of my teas and other herb spices up there. Those are actually tea strainers that you would put in if you were making a cup of tea. But I've got different teas that I drank back there. Just some other things thrown up at the top. The microwave, the mixer, and then, I don't know, the lighting's not real good back here, but I do have things hung off the side. That there's just not a place for a bunch of the things because of the limited cabinet space. I'm not going to feel bad about that because I'm utilizing every little bit of space that I have. The counter, basically just your basic stuff. Butter, the coffee maker and the accessories for it, my cookie jar, and my set of knives. In the drawers, now the drawers, this one's the mess drawer. This one is what I call a junk drawer. Okay, it's got a variety of stuff in it, but you know, I do actually use it. So there's that. Down below, pots and pans. This drawer, this is actually the cooking utensil drawer, and I do try and separate all of my stuff so that it's more accessible and easier to find versus just like throwing it all in a drawer. I have the dividers. It helps a lot, I will say. I think it helps a lot. This drawer here, more pans. The heavy boys. That in that cabinet was mostly pots. This is the pans. This is all my cast iron. That's what I use. And in the bottom drawer, this is a real mess. This is pretty much cooking, baking trays and that kind of thing. Flat things that can go in there. All right, we're getting there. The sink, yes, it's clean today. No dishes standing in it. And I always have a towel hanging out, as well as a cloth and, you know, paper towels, that kind of thing. Way up there, I haven't put a lot on. I can put stuff on top of the cabinets. I haven't put a whole lot, just those colanders that I find attractive. And then as for dishes, this is our dishes. Plates, bowls, trays, you know, different kinds of odds and ends that I end up storing in there. This counter is just pretty much somewhat decorative, but it's also useful We have our sugar and salt and pepper shakers, and I do keep a thing of peppermints in case we get indigestion. That's the best way to take care of your indigestion. Just a simple peppermint. Silverware, utensils, gosh, I can't even think. Kitchen towels. And in the bottom, we have more bakeware. So, there we go. I mean, it's not a big kitchen. It's a long galley kitchen. And there's Paige. And this is what we have room for. So, you know, like I was saying, I am trying to stock up. As y'all know, prices of groceries are going up, up, up. And I have been listening to a few other YouTubers who are talking about how everything that's going on with the tariffs and the whole shipping situation and things that come from the countries that we're not on good terms with at this time, how it's going to affect, and the trickle down of how everything is going to, you know, go up in price due to all these wonderful things that these lovely politicians are enacting upon us. So I've been listening, and I am trying to stock up and be prepared for the day that I may not be able to even afford a can of beans. Who knows? So I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to, you know, do the best I can to get by with what I have and get through it when, let's just put it bluntly, when the shit hits the fan. So, you know, there's that. All right. In my haste of getting through the kitchen, I forgot to show you what we have stored in these two cabinets that are above the counter. Guess what? More food. We've got flour and grains and pastas, beans, those kind of thing. There's sugar and other pastas and things back there. And then down here, oils and a lot of stuff for baking, vinegar, all that kind of stuff. Stuff for baking, the oats, and some other extra peanut butter and more baking stuff, things like that. So that's basically what's in this cabinet, is more of the food and food storage. And then moving over here, the plastics. Yeah, I keep a lot of plastics. As you can see, there's a bunch that I showed in a short that, you know, when you get something that comes in a plastic container, reuse it, you know. Reuse those plastic containers, and you don't have to buy any. But, you know, everybody needs a little bit of food storage. And I just like to keep the plastic stuff kind of separated from all the other. So there's that. Anyways, there's those two cabinets that I missed in my, you know, furious dash through the kitchen in making this little video. But I wanted to include that here so that you know that we're not hiding anything. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you a little view of the kitchen. This is looking out the opposite way through the door into the living room. We have lived here for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years at the end of June. We would like to move, but that's really not an option right now. We don't have the money for it, number one. This is what we can afford, number two, and I don't mind disclosing how much this place is. This is an older, and I will say, run down, cheap way of living where we live. It's $950 a month, and that includes electric, water, sewage, trash, and gas. That's what we get. I can't get that anywhere else. I can't even rent a 2-bedroom apartment for $950. anywhere else. That's the way it is these days. A one bedroom, 1,200 and up. I need a little bit of space. I'm still not to the point, I'm not quite willing to let some of the things that I've been able to acquire through my life, I'm not willing to let them go. Not quite yet. Maybe someday. But not quite yet. I'm not quite there. So I need 2 bedrooms, and it's simply unaffordable. And that price for the rent doesn't include the electric, water, sewage, and gas, or have a little yard or anything like that. That is just literally the rent. And we can't afford that. You know, we're just getting by paying what we do here and the very, very few minimal bills that we have. That's all we can do. So we're not going to be moving. We're going to have to stay here a while longer until something gives or the place falls down around us. Who knows? However, at least I do have insurance. So, this is what you get. It is, like I said, obviously, I mean, the counters are okay. You know, I don't complain about that. My stove is actually new. When we moved in, the stove that was in here, which was pretty much just like this one, it quit working almost right off the bat. And so the landlord did replace it with a brand new one, which I was really thankful for. You know, it's your average everyday apartment size refrigerator. What are you going to do about that? That's what it is. I'm never going to complain about that either. You know, it's just there's more limited space in some place like this. So you make do with what you have, and you know, if you can find a way to make space for things, and you know, just by throwing in a set of shelves or something, then there you go. It helps out a lot just to have that kind of thing. So, you know, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing great, but this is where we live and how we live, and are going to continue to go along with this as long as we have to and as long as we can. That's the thing, is we're kind of, you know, in a position where we can't just up and say, yeah, well, we don't want to live here anymore. We don't have a choice. We're going to have to stay. Hopefully, things stay the same as they have for, you know, as they've been for almost the past 5 years, and nothing catastrophic happens, and we'll continue to get by. So there's the Mrs. Dollar Knot kitchen. Yeah, I went through it kind of fast. I don't think there's anything to really see, but this is where everything from the food bank comes to, and where I make use of it and make the meals, all that kind of stuff. I am thinking about showing the rest of my home room by room. I'll do a video. So this would be the first in that little series, and this would be the kitchen video. And, you know, next time I might move on into the living room, dining area. And just so y'all can see what living in lower cost home settings looks like. You know, what people can afford and what they get. What you get for your money these days, it's not much. But if you can live with it, then, you know, that's what you got to do. Anyhow, if you'd like to see more of the Mrs. Dollar Knot home, the old church, and I can also go outside and show you what the structure looks like as well, I will certainly do that. Just if you want, leave me a comment and let me know, hey, I'd like to see more. If you have any questions about what I did show, and, you know, anything that you want to criticize me on, well, feel free. Leave it in the comments. And until next time, bye-bye.